Welcome, everybody. It is 5 o'clock, and I know that because I hear that beautiful sound of those bells in Breslin Tower. And um, so I just want to be really respectful of your time. So I don't want to keep anybody waiting, and people can just continue to join us. But my name's Susan Askew. I'm class of '86, and I'm Associate Vice President for Alumni and Parent Programs. And I know I didn't warn you guys this was a meeting, but you can turn your video off if you want to. But it's fun for me to see your faces. But you guys, it's so fun to have the students back. I guess we're 2 or 3 weeks in with them, and the campus is just so vibrant. And we've had some home athletic competitions and a couple weekends under our belt. And what we're really looking forward to, though, is family weekend and welcoming you guys to the mountain. And so I love this opportunity to be able to share a little bit about family weekend. And what we're going to do is, I don't think we'll be here an hour, but um, I just want to kind of explain, go over everything that I think you might want to know about. And then I will be happy to take any questions at the end. But does that sound good with everybody? I'm going to share my screen. We probably don't really need a PowerPoint, but it's better than looking at my face the whole time. Okay, so family weekend is not unique. I mean, other schools have it, but we get a lot of questions about different things and that we offer that weekend. So I just thought it would be a good way to kind of explain some of that and answer your questions. So what I'm going to do is start with the things you need to know, and then cover some things that you probably just want to know. Okay, first, and we're recording this if you've missed a little bit, which we haven't even started really, but if you want to go back and listen to it, or maybe one of your buddies missed it, we're recording this and we'll share that out with everybody. Okay, obviously the date, and I hope you guys have all marked your calendars. It's October 6th through 8th, and I just, you're probably wondering how we um, pick that date, but we look at a lot of different things. But we start with the football schedule, the home football schedule, and this year, this date started out being a night game, and we thought that would be kind of fun for family weekend. It's no longer a night game, but um, last year family weekend was September 15th or 16th, something like that. And it felt so soon, like you guys had just dropped your students off and then you kind of came back. And so we picked this October 6th through 8th date. And now we realize that's pretty close to fall break. So you will have just seen your student and either come back and get them or head on home. But all that to be said, we do have next year's date already. Oh, and I'm not guessing at all. That really is the date, September 27th through 29th. And I'm telling you that, and I'm 95% sure that will not change, but you guys probably know how hard it is to find a place to stay. So already knowing next year's date, I would go ahead and try to find something, knowing you can cancel it if we change it. I don't think we will. But I mean, 95% sure on that. Okay. So the next thing I think you need to know is we have registration, and it is open, and many of you have already registered for the weekend. And I would say it's not 80% of the families. We have probably 800 of our 1,600 families that come. So people do come to family weekend. Um, and I think it's I'm not bragging, but I think it's because it's a lot of fun, and it's I can say that with confidence because we know people who come to family weekend even if their student is abroad or otherwise not here for some reason. We've even had parents come back the year after their student graduated. So I hope if you aren't planning to come that you are on the fence that maybe I've changed your mind and swayed you to come. So you pre-register for the weekend, you sign up for family weekend. We offer a few other things you can pick when you're registering, like the shuttle passes, the tailgate, the golf, and I'll go into all of those in a little bit. But that basic fee includes three meals. There's a Friday dinner that's kind of celebratory, and then breakfast and lunch on Saturday. Um, and then just everything else that comes with the weekend. It just sort of helps cover that cost. And once you register and you figure out that you have someone else coming or you want to add that shuttle pass or something, just um, email us or call us to let us know, because you'll have to go back in and register, and it requires you to pay that $75 fee. So just if any changes, just email us and we'll work that out. Okay. The family weekend check-in and registration area. So you've registered ahead of time. Then what you do is you come to the McGriff Alumni House, and that's sort of like Family Weekend Central. We have, it's where you would come, pick up your packets, which is your name tags, your parent directory, the most recent schedule. We have a family weekend souvenir you'll get. And it's just a place, we'll have coffee, and we have a charging station where you can charge your phones. And it's just a great place to hang out while you're in between events, maybe, or it really makes a good place to meet your student if they're in class, and you can just say, well, meet me at McGriff. I'll be there at 11:15 or whatever. But we'll be ready for you guys Thursday starting at 1 o'clock, and we go to 5, and we'll be here all day Friday till 5, and then Saturday till noon. But we're here, for you to pick up your packets, obviously, but also if you have any questions about anything or need anything, like something comes up, you need, trying to think what it is, you need to borrow a wheelchair, or just things like that we can help you with. Now, the things you're going to want to know. You probably have some questions, but we'll wait to the end and cover them all. Parking. So I say there are about 800 families that come. That's family. So there's like 20, we make 2,500 name tags that weekend. So that's a lot of people. And, so parking is always kind of an issue. But this year it seems to be a little bit more of an issue because they have instituted a no parking policy on University Avenue. They've always should have done that, but because there's a bike lane there, and I don't know if the state has cracked down or something, but just starting this Monday, they've said no parking on University Avenue, even for large events. So I just wanted to make sure you know that. And then because of that, they've put in additional parking sort of in a variety of places. So I'm going to see if we can get a parking map created for you that we can share as you go. Let's see. But that brings me to the next thing, the shuttle. So probably by now that there's not, like, you can't get a Lyft or an Uber in Sewanee. And so a few years ago, we started offering a shuttle, and it's not even a fancy word, but it's not anything fancy, but it's the university vans, and we have about 5 of them that run that weekend, and they're driven by, they've had to pass and be certified, but they're driven by students from our School of Theology, from the seminary, and we need them to help us, and they like it because they like to get a little extra money. But the way that the shuttle works is it works sort of like a shuttle on the campus side. So there's a couple places it stops, like here at McGriff, at the Sewanee Inn, I think the football field, downtown, kind of the Wellness Commons near McClurg. Um, so it just kind of acts like a shuttle on this side, but on the other side, it acts like a taxi. And so we have a dispatch number. That does sound fancy, but it really is a central number that you call, and they will come get you where you're staying. Now it goes about a 6 mile radius, and that's estimated, like those tiny homes in Tracy City, if anybody's staying there, it will go there, even though that's about 8 miles. It just doesn't go off the mountain. It won't go down the mountain, but it goes into cliff tops if you're staying out that way, renting a house. Just you'll need your code to access to get in. I do need to tell you, if you've rented a place in the Assembly, that the Assembly doesn't like our big clunky vans back in there during such a busy weekend. So we'll take you and pick you up at the gates of the Assembly. So when you call and say you're at the Assembly, they'll instruct you to walk to that front gate. So let's just hope it's not raining. So that's kind of the fun way that works. It will really take you, where you're staying. And really, if we've got those stops here and you're not at one of those stops, it'll come get you. Like if they're really, really busy, they'll say, well, I'm headed to the McGriff stop if you'll walk that way. But they'll say, okay, you're at Sterling's, I'll come get you there. They're really, really good. And it helps with the issue of parking, because if come to pick you up where you're staying, then that solves that. You don't having a car on campus. Or they can probably take you to the parking if you've parked far away. They have wacky hours. Like I think we start at, you'll know when you get the shuttle pass what the hours are, but it goes to 1 a.m. So for you Eastern time people, that's 2 a.m. So I know where I'll be at that hour, but if you still need a ride, they operate at that hour. Okay, and the cookout, or you may think of it as a picnic, but this is it's kind of like the signature event, I guess, but it's Friday afternoon. We'll have a gowning convocation that I'll explain a little bit about later. I saved it to last in case your student isn't receiving their gown or already has their gown, and you can kind of tune out. But that's at 4:30, and immediately following that is a big celebration on the quad. And it's a full catered dinner by Natural Bridge Events, if you know that caterer. They're really good. And we'll have, a bar and other beverages, but it's just really, really fun. And it's a great way to meet other families. And we invite professors and coaches to it. So I hope you'll plan to do that, because it's really fun. And I don't know if what to wear is on this list, but it is not fancy at all. But because it follows the gowning, there will be people probably in blue blazers, but there will be people in shorts and, golf shirts that they just bought at the bookstore. So you'll see all kinds. We don't care what you wear, but if you wanted to know, I guess it's the dressiest thing we have, but it's not really that dressy. The tailgate that we offer is so fun. It's super, super fun. But we're limited to these spaces. If you come for other home football games, it's the spaces that they let people park in that's kind of next to the practice football field and the baseball field out that way. But we started it a few years ago when there was a night game, and we said, well, what do we do all during the day? So you can reserve up to 2 spaces. We sell out of this event. And in fact, last year I oversold before I could catch that we were sold out. And people set up, some people bring a tent, some people just bring their car. And it's just, and then if you don't have a space, you don't have to have a space. People just walk through it like it's, is Coachella a thing? I don't know, but they just walk through that whole area. And because people who do have spaces invite you over, or just pull you in as you're walking around. It's just really, really fun. And if you have done it before, I hope you agree that it's really fun. And if you haven't, but you like your space, or you like who you are next to and you want to be next to someone, we'll make those arrangements for you. If you just email us and say, hey, I wanted to be next to the Jones family, or whatever. But it's so fun. And somebody will have like a tennis tailgate spot, or some people group together and say, let's have our own space there this year. Anyway, so when you register, you'll see that that's an option. And even if you don't have a space, it's the place to be. Just walk around and see how fun it is, and meet other people. And we should have a contest for voting for the best tailgate space. Okay, our golf tournament we offer on Friday morning, and it's at our course at Sewanee. And our golf pros, thank goodness, run that for us. So once you sign up with me, I'll turn everything over to them, which is kind of new this year. We have tried to do it, but they've offered, and that's what they do. They're good at it. So we have only done the golf tournament a few years, and so we've learned a lot each year. And this year we're beefing it up with some good swag and some we've got the food all worked out. But anyway, the golf tournament, it's Friday morning. There's 2 opportunities: an 8:30 shotgun start. It's not really shotgun, but 8:30 start and 11:30 start. And they're 2-person teams. And if you wanted to play with your student, the only downside is they're probably in class. But so just check that out. And then, of course, where to stay. And by now, many of you, if you haven't found a place, the struggles of finding something at this date. And I just put that on there because I want to encourage you to go ahead and reserve your place for next year. But also, our office, people will call us and say, oh, we had a cancellation, or I'm for some reason not rented yet. So we kind of keep a list when people let us know that. And then if you call me and say, oh my gosh, my place double booked, I desperately need something, then we keep those 2 lists, and we can help you find a place if you're having trouble. And then the vibe, it's just fun, it's casual, and we're going to try to showcase some things that we think you want to hear about and learn about. There'll be, talks and hikes and different ways to spend some time with your student. And it's just kind of fun, and I can't wait for you guys to be here. And then I said I'd save this for the last part of what you want to know. And I'll try to be quick in case, because since it doesn't appeal to everybody. But so this wonderful tradition at Sewanee of earning your gown, which I love. I think it makes us unique, and it it's just very special, and it's a long standing tradition. And so we like to make a big deal about it. And it comes with some privileges when you have your gown, but to earn it, as many of you know, it's based on your grade point average, and it's harder to get it after your freshman year, and then less hard after that. Not ever easy, but it's always so. they do a gowning ceremony both in the fall and then again in the spring. The one in the fall, because it falls on family weekend, is just huge because everyone comes. Now, in the spring, people come for it too, but for some reason, it's not in the masses like it is in during family weekend. And so a couple years ago, we had to start giving tickets out, and we would limit the student to 2 tickets. Well, we call it family weekend. We want you to bring the grandparents and we want you to bring this younger sibling so that they fall in love with Sewanee. Um, and then we just outgrew the chapel altogether because this fall one has, for some reason, more new members of the Order of the Gown than the one in the spring. And um, so what we do now, and it really has worked out well because parents have told me that. So this new person who has earned their gown asks somebody to gown them, and they are supposed to be someone who is already in the Order of the Gown. So it could be like their buddy on the soccer team or their roommate. It could be a professor. It could be I guess it could be a coach. There's no gown police. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, you can't gown them because you're not in the Order of the Gown." But that's really what it's supposed to be. Someone who's already in the gown order to gown the other person. So that's the new Order of the Gown member, and the person gowning them will get tickets to get into All Saints Chapel, where this gowning convocation happens. There are other things that happen during it, like there's an honorary degree, they give out some awards, things like that. While all that's going on in the chapel, all the guests, anybody else, is, I'm going to say, on the quad. Now, you could be in Gary Auditorium watching the live stream, but it's just when the gowning happens, it actually happens on the quad. So you might as well just go ahead and get there, or we'll be set up for that picnic. So you'll be able to sit if you want to. And, uh, so I say just go ahead and be on the quad. And since it's being live streamed, you could watch it on your phone or personal device, and then you'll know when it's time for the gowning. Because when they do that, they call out each individual name, and then they come outside. And this is where I say you should probably plan where you think you're going to be on the quad so they can find you and come be with you for the actual ceremony part. But like just say, well, I'm going to be near the observatory building, towards the back or something, just or maybe just text each other. But so anyway, they come out and they join you, and it's not just 2 people that they used to be limited to have. It's your whole family who's here in town gets to be part of this. And then the people officiating, the vice chancellor and the university marshal and everybody who's been inside convocation, they all come outside too on a stage, and they hold the gowning part of that convocation. And so the vice chancellor says, kind of, do you agree to these privileges of earning the gown, and something. It's more eloquent than that. And um, uh, then I think he says some Latin, and everybody says, I will. And then he says, receive your gown. And to me, that's the money shot. That's when you get your camera ready, because whoever they've selected will put the gown on them, and everybody hugs, and it's very celebratory. It's just, it's a good moment. But it's fun because everybody gets to participate now when we didn't really used to. And then we immediately, they'll pull the ropes off the bar, and the food and the picnic part begins right there. I just wanted to call your attention to a few of these things. I call them don't miss events. But the vice chancellor, you guys probably know we have a new vice chancellor. He's on the job 2 months, but he knows this place so well. He is a class of 76 grad, so he's been a student here. He's an alum. He's been a parent here twice. Both of his children went here. He and his wife have a house here and kept it while he was not living here. So they've been community members. He used to be on the faculty here and he used to be on the staff here. So I mean, you guys, all those roles are important to kind of know and equip him for this role. And then he brings his vision and that experience and his experience as a president at another institution. He has been at Millsaps for 13 years before we lured him back home. And so anyway, I can't wait. If you haven't met him, I can't wait for you to meet him. And so he will do like a welcome address Friday at 2:00. And I hope you'll make plans to be there. And then I mentioned this fun cookout on the quad. And then there will be other events that your student will probably schedule. You know, there'll be just lots and lots of private parties that you'll probably get invited to, but also lots of other things like department receptions and hikes and lectures, and we even let you go sit in on a class. So we just can't wait. And now I wanted to see, I'm going to check in that chat and see if there are any questions down there. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, unfortunately, so someone's asking about a lacrosse player and they have a scrimmage at 7. And the cookout is at 6, maybe a tad earlier. So you'll be able to make that for sure. And, you know, also, I think there's a few sporting events out of town, which makes me super sad. I know volleyball's out of town and maybe field hockey, but yes. So I failed to mention our vice chancellor's, our first lady is Phoebe Peregrine, and you're going to fall in love with her just as much as you. Okay, someone said, what's a GPA for gowning? I'm not exactly sure. I just know after your freshman year is very high, like an A- or something. And then as you go on, it's a B+ and a B-. And then if you get it as senior, you should still be very proud. But I think it's, even if you don't meet the grade point average, once you take your comprehensive exams, you get your, you earn your gown. All right. Does somebody want to talk in live and not through the chat?
I would like to. Can you hear me?
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, so we have a 15-year-old son and an 11-year-old son. Does it make sense to bring them? Will there be something for them to do? Will they be bored, or is it just more for us and our student?
And our son Mayor is playing tennis also, so I don't know like what their schedule is going to be or what. We're just trying to figure that out.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, they can participate in most of everything that we're doing. I mean, and I just wonder if they'd be bored. I think my son at that age would have been, but I know lots of families that bring their students and they just fall in love with Swan. I mean, they're younger children and they find plenty to do. Okay, the gowning question. So freshmen can't get their gown until they're sophomores. So someone asked if they have their grades, but they will not have grades there. And I think that you're asking that as it relates to gowning. Okay, and then what do you wear at the gowning? Like I said, that's the dressiest of all our events, but it's not even that dressy, except that the people participating in the gowning ceremony will likely wear a blazer, you know, probably not a tie. Who else has a question? Laura?
You've seen me very participative with all my head shakes and my yes, I like Phoebe a lot. I don't really, well, I'm a member of the Parents Council, so I don't know if anybody on this call is as well. I'm a brand new member and I'm really excited about it as well. So I don't know if anybody has any questions about that, maybe now might be a good time to ask if you missed the, the happy hour, not happy hour. What, sorry, it probably was a happy hour, but the reception at drop off.
Yeah, and y'all have heard from, that's out of our fundraising office. It's Bess Turner is the director of parent philanthropy, and if you have questions about that, it's primarily a fundraising group, and they do meet that weekend, but we make sure we don't overlap schedules. It's Friday morning is their meeting. But Laura's a classmate of mine here from Sewanee, is why I picked on her. Oh, good. Somebody shared the grade.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is it possible for you to provide some maps for parents on campus? Because I know a lot of people have trouble with cell phone reception. And even though the buildings are available online, if you have no cell phone reception, it's still a little bit hard when you have freshmen or sophomore students to find the names of buildings and be at the right building at the right time without a map.
Yes, I'm going to write that down. They don't print nice maps anymore, but we'll have a map, and I'm going to try to get a parking map on top of that. So this is a good time to see if we can get a map with the buildings on them. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Can I jump in on that? Because
Sure.
I know I went there, but I've forgotten all the street names. So I just took a screenshot of the map online when I did have good reception, and then I can expand and, contract that. So that's what I did for orientation, just so I remember where I was going,
Very creative.
if that helps. Yeah.
Okay, someone says, is there a 5K fun run? Yes. Oh, and walking is fine. It is fun run, and some people say that's an oxymoron. Is that the right word? But it's very casual. Some people bring their 3-year-old with them. But it's to the cross and back, which is about 3 miles, 5K. Yes. And yeah, we're going to have the Ralston Music Listening Room open. We'll have different hours that you can go there. Yes, Verizon service is good and AT&T service is good. If you have T-Mobile, I think you struggle. Well, y'all are easy. What else? Leanne, I see you. Leanne's my counterpart at Millsaps. She has a new freshman here. Yes, there will be a printed schedule of all the events. That'll be here at Family Weekend Hub here at the McGriff Alumni House. No, you don't have to register for the 5K. And I'd love it to be more popular, but I'd say we have 20 people that show up that morning. It's like 8 a.m. So I think after a Friday night, so that may, oh, where do we register for the weekend? We have that's all available online, and I may put it in the chat here, but you will hear from me if you've been getting my emails. We'll make sure you know how to register. And also, I sent out one this morning. If you did not get it, that means we don't have your email address, but we provide a parent directory during family weekend, because we were thinking, people's kids might get invited to someone's house for Thanksgiving or to their lake house for the weekend or something. And, they want to write a thank you note or just make sure it's okay. And we realized there was no way for parents to connect with each other. So we started creating a parent directory that we will share at Family Weekend. But then the other fun part of that, so we sent that out today to say, this is the information we have. Is that all correct? And let us know if it's not, because this is how it's going to print unless you let us know. But we also, in the next few weeks, uh, it sounds like we are so stalky, but we know where most of you went to undergrad. And so that that is one thing we were seeing is like by the time your kid was a senior, you'd say, "Oh, my fraternity brother has a son here, and I didn't know it all these years." So we've started sharing out a list. We'll send, like, if you went to um, uh, Millsaps, let's say, like, we'll send you a list of all the other Sewanee parents who went to Millsaps, and then y'all can connect. And like Washington and Lee, we have a lot of people there, and they do a little tailgate. They do a little or something during the weekend. They all get together. Once they got that list, they thought that would be fun. But so anyway, be on the lookout and you'll definitely know how to register. But before we leave, I will put that in the chat. Are there any events on Sunday? On Sunday, there, of course, All Saints service, and there are 2 soccer games on Sunday. And I think the listening room opens on Sunday. Yeah, we'll send the schedule to you by email as well ahead of time. And it'll always be up to date online. Like that day, if we have to change the location or something, we'll keep it updated. Oh, look, thank you for putting the link in there. All right. Are y'all getting good reports from your students? Good.
For the golf outing, you said it's on Friday morning at 8:30. Is that accurate?
Well, you pick either 8:30 or 11:30. So it's only 9 holes because we're stuck on the time, we just don't have much time to fit it in. But we sell out on that golf tournament too. We sell out on the tailgate spaces in the golf tournament.
Okay, and so if our student has class, will the teachers give them a free pass to play in the outing?
No. And if you don't like, there are a lot of singles that sign up that want me to match you up with somebody. So if you play, and then if you didn't want to play, because I don't know exactly, but what the rules of play are, if it's a scramble, but I'm sure it's tournament-y like that. And so if you want to play a full round, you can reserve tee times out there the rest of outside of that morning, Friday morning.
Okay.
Lunch on Saturday, you get to go inside McClurg and eat, and I want to say food's always great in there, but they do beef it up a little bit to impress you guys. I see someone asking about other cross-country parents. Do y'all know there's a Zoom tonight for that? The athletic department is holding Zooms for all the athletic families. And tonight is the first one, and it's cross-country and track and field. So that's at 6 o'clock. Chris, if you don't have that info, I can send it to you, but maybe you can hook up with some other parents there.
Yeah, good idea. Thank you. I do have that.
Great. All right. Well, look how speedy we were. And if you didn't get your question answered or think of it later, just email me and I will try to answer it. But I can't wait to see it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I do have another question. So I know McClurg is great, but I know my daughter's going to want to get off campus to eat something. Any recommendations, or are there any places where you can make a reservation, or is it the shenanigans 45-minute line for all?
Right. Good question. Yeah. No, so High Point Restaurant in Mont Eagle will take a reservation. I think that's the only place that takes reservations, but we'll list all the restaurants on, but Sewanee, there's a new one called Lunch, but it's only open during the day hours. Shenanigans in the Blue Chair here. And then of course the Greensview Grill at the Golf Lodge is a good option. And then the Sewanee Inn will offer, restaurant service. But then Mount Eagle, has, Papa Ron's, Up in Smoke. The students love this place called the Mountain Goat Market. It's only open till 8, I think, but it is, it's packed all the time. Yes, there's a great Mexican restaurant in Cowan called Fiesta Grill, and a new one that they opened. Yeah. Mountain Goat. All right. Well, what's for dinner? It's time to go eat. All right. Well, let me know if you have any other questions, and I can't wait to see you guys. Thanks.
Thanks. Thanks,
Bye.
you guys, for putting this on. This has been great.